Hello everyone, welcome back to DIY Beauty on Purpose. My name is Leonette and today I am bringing you 5 absolutely beautiful farmhouse style DIY decor using jute twine. So for this DIY, I am going to need several strands of jute twine. To be exact, it's going to be 8. So I would say they're about 3.5 to 4 feet long. This is just what I ended up needing for my particular jar that I am using. But depending on the size of your jar, you need it either shorter or smaller. I am going to divide all 8 strands into 4 strands of 2. And then I am going to kind of loop them, and you're going to see it here. I'm going to try to keep it as normal time as possible. And you're going to loop them one to each side, making sure one is on top of the other. So one loop, one way, the other loop the other way, and then once you have everything set, then you're going to thread the loose strands in between the loop, so inside each loop. And it looks kind of crazy because of the curl of the jute twine, but basically you're just going to keep threading it through each loop, and then you're going to start tightening towards the inside slowly and slowly and slowly until you have a knot. And this is kind of what it would look like. Once you have it nicely tugged in and tight, now you're going to take 2 strands that are next to each other. It doesn't matter which strand, as long as they're right next to each other. And you're going to tie a knot, leaving about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. But again, this all depends on how big your container is. 1 inch to 1.5 inches was perfect for my size container, which is like a little jar, glass jar from the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to take the next 2 strands that are next to each other and tie a knot, and do that all the way around with all the strands. And now I have all the strands tied up, as you can see. And then what I'm going to do for the next step is take 1 strand from each bundle next to each other. So not the strands that you already tied together, but 1 strand from each little bundle that are next to each other, and then tie a knot again 1 inch to 1.5 inches away from the previous knot. And you're going to do that all the way around again. So this is kind of what it's looking after making about 4 to 5 knots up on each side. So now I am going to place the jar right in the center. That way I know where I need to tie my last knot. And I'm going to do the same thing. Grab 2 strands from different bundles that are next to each other and tie a knot. And this time I am making sure that it's again about 1 inch to 1.5 inches away from the other knots, but also that they would be even with the next knots that I am making, to make sure that they're all even when you're looking at it. And now I am just going to take all the loose strands and pull them up, almost like I'm making a little ponytail. And I am going to just look at it to make sure all my knots are even and making sure everything is nicely where I want it to be. Now I'm going to take 2 bundles. That's 4 strands, and now I'm going to tie them together. And I'm going to do that same thing to the next 2 bundles, which will be a total of 4 strands, and tie them again, making sure that each knot is again even with the next one. And then once I'm done with that last one, I'm going to make sure all the knots are nicely even. And then I'm going to make one knot, one big knot at the end. That way it'll bring everything together, and I'm going to cut the excess jute twine that's on top. And that's it. Look how beautiful it turned out. I was so proud of myself. This is the first time me making anything like this, but I'm enthusiastic about maybe even making a bigger one for a bigger planter. Alright friends, so I am so excited to tell you that today's video is in collaboration with Fanny from Creations by Favi. She is my friend and I absolutely love her creations. She asked me to co-host her monthly challenge called Twine It Up, where you create 1 or more DIYs using jute twine. She hosts this every single month and it's open invite to anyone who would like to participate. I do have her information linked down in the description box, as well as her Instagram and YouTube channel. So check it out, pay her a visit. If you have not subscribed to her, I encourage you to do so. She's so talented. Alright, for this next DIY, I am going to take more jute twine and a 6-inch piece of a ruler that was left over from a previous project. I'm going to wrap it around. I would say it was about maybe 10 times or so. And then once I have it where I want it, I am going to remove it from the ruler and I am going to fold it in half, placing a piece of jute twine in the center.
Take me on a treasure hunt. I long for something new. Have you heard the fairies when they sing and dance? Oh, I wish it was me.
And then I'm going to take another piece of jute twine and then tie it around the top several times, hot gluing it to make sure it's secure. And then I am going to cut the loops from the bottom of the tassel to make sure that all the strands are separated.
When I close my eyes, I see beauty lives in me.
And then cut the ends of the tassel, that way all the strands are about the same size. Then I am going to tie a knot in the strand that we had in the middle of the tassel, making sure it's nicely secure. And then I'm going to take this tiny little white flowers that I thrifted a very long time ago. I still have several strands left over. I'm going to hot glue about 3 of them there to the top, and I think it just looks super cute. And then I'm going to place this tassel in a little vase. It's a white ceramic vase that I have. It's a small one, so that's why the tassel has to be small. But I think it just added very cute little detail to this vase. And of course, you can make a bigger tassel if you need it for a larger vase.
I know I don't yet know it, so I trust you when you say that beauty lives in me too. Later it comes later, dear. For many
Alright friends, don't forget that this month's giveaway is a rotary cutter as well as the fabric cutting mat. To enter, you just have to watch and comment on this video, and any comments made in February of 2021 will be entered for the giveaway. Alright guys, so moving along. This next DIY, I am going to take more jute twine and I am going to it's probably going to end up being about 2 feet, maybe 18 to 24 inches long strands, and I'm going to use 3 of them. I am then going to tape them to my workbench, and then I am going to braid the strands all the way to the bottom. When I reach the end of the strands, I am going to take some clear tape and just tape the bottom of it and cut the excess strands. Then I am going to remove the top tape, the one where I was holding it on the workbench. I am going to place more tape on there, just like I did on the bottom, and then I'm going to cut the excess as well. This is going to give me one long braided strand of jute twine. I am then going to fold it in half, and I am going to tape on each side of that fold. So then I can cut in the middle of the tape, and then I'll have 2 equal size of jute twine rope, and it'll be braided and taped on each end. So you're going to have 2 strands just like this. Then I am going to take this little ceramic bowl and I am going to tape them just like you see here, creating some handles. And I'm just going to use some more of that clear tape and tape each strand or each end of the strands to the base, leaving about, I would say about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in between each strand. And I'll do the same thing to the other side. Now I am going to take hot glue and I am going to start on the bottom of the bowl, so at the very bottom of the base of the bowl, and I am going to start hot gluing all the way around, making sure I go over each strand as I go around, and I'm going to go up about 1.5 inches, just enough to cover where the tape was. Once I had it all the way to where I wanted it, I cut the strand and then I am going to hot glue the handles onto the base or onto the bowl. So I'm just going to place a small little strip of hot glue and place the rope right on it. I'll do that on all 4 strands and we'll be done with this one, guys. Such a very simple one, but what a way to add character, a farmhouse chic kind of look to this small bowl, and I think it just looks so cute. Friends, don't forget that I have an Instagram page that I post in daily, multiple times a day. I'd love to connect with you there as well. Check it out. I do have the link down in the description box. Alright, so for this next DIY, I am going to take some burlap ribbon and I am going to cut a piece. I would say it's about 18 inches long. I am then going to start removing each strand from the burlap ribbon. So burlap ribbon is made out of all these little tiny, I guess they look like jute twine, right? And I'm just going to start pulling them, but I left about 1/2 inch on top, and you're going to see that there. And then I'm going to stop about 1/2 inch from the bottom. So that way I have something like this left over. I am then going to place glue all around the one end, and I'm going to fold the top end towards the bottom, creating a big loop. I'm now going to take a piece of stick, this is just a branch, and I am going to hot glue it on one end and start rolling it and hot gluing it onto it. And we're creating some burlap or kind of like jute twine flowers here. So I'm just going to keep rolling it, and I'm going to roll all the way around to maybe 2/3 of the strand, because I want one flower. I'm going to create 2 flowers, and I want one of them to be a little bit thicker, fuller than the other one. And then I am going to have 2 flowers rolled up in a branch or stick, and I think they turn out so cute. Once I had the flower right where I wanted it, I am now going to start separating all the strands from the top, as much or as little as I want, and then I'm going to create the second flower, which will be just a little thinner.
The blackbird inside your chest that calls on you to cry. You decided it was time for him.
I'm going to place some hot glue right in the center of each flower and place one of these wooden beads that I get on Amazon to finish it off. And then I am going to take both stems and I am going to wrap them together using some jute twine. And then I'll place them in a glass vase, and I think it turned out so stinking cute. I love these little flowers. I can imagine seeing like a whole bouquet of them, and I think it would turn out so beautiful.
Out of the darkness and into the light. Higher and higher out of sight. The whisper inside your heart tells you let go. Time to leave the past. You did what you knew. Slow down and rest. You've been through a war. No one can hurt you anymore. Behind closed eyes.
My friends, if you have not joined our email list, I encourage you to do so. I will be sending out monthly printables at the end of each month, so I would love to connect with you there again. And if you want to do so, just check out the link down in the description box. All right, for this next DIY, I am going to take this leftover, or I guess it's like a trashed can. I believe it was like maybe corn or maybe SpaghettiOs. Who knows? I'm going to give it one pretty heavy coat of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. Let it dry.
Hey, I've been dreaming about you. Every night I see you clear as day. It's just something about
All right, once the paint was dry, I'm now going to use my sanding block and sand off a lot of the paints. I want this can to have a very distressed look. So I'm starting very slowly and then moving my way up as I want to see more distressed look. Once I dusted it off really well, I'm then going to take jute twine and I'm going to wrap it around the center and then give it a very simple bow.
you make me feel. 'Cause I can't concentrate anytime you're beside me. Yeah, it's what you do to me. I can barely breathe. Hey, I've been thinking about you and all the words that
I'm going to take some more of those little tiny flowers from earlier and just hot glue them right in the center. And that's it for this one, guys. Such a simple one. I can see having maybe 5 of these cans or even more on a table, like a centerpiece, and just having different kinds of florals on it. I placed boxwood on this one, but I think it turned out so cute, and it will look beautiful with maybe some, I don't know, summer white flowers. I just think it turned out so cute.
The next time that I see your pretty face, 'cause I can concentrate.
All right, friends, this is it for today. I hope you love this video. I had so much fun creating these DIYs using jute twine. I want to thank my friend Fanny from Creations by Favi for inviting me to co-host this challenge today, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you're visiting for the first time or if you're visiting from Fanny's channel, welcome. I hope you consider subscribing and joining our YouTube family. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. And don't forget that I always have a link here with tons more of inspiration for you. Check it out. I'll see you later, guys. Have a blessed day. Bye.